Hey, BookTube, Chelsea, the Reading Outlaw here for Vlog Week. It's Vlog Week, yeah! What does that mean? Really, it just means that hopefully I'll get my shit together enough to bring you guys around with me. I'm sure you guys can see the aftermath of the weekend behind me. There is not a lot of cleanup stuff that gets done on the weekends because I'm pretty hardcore pulling the single mom gig. So, bless, power to you, mad support for all my single parents out there. You guys are way better at it than I am. I'm not even a full-time single parent, and you guys are kicking ass at it 10 times the way that I am. But that means, as Monday, today's cleanup day. So I'm gonna do a bunch of housework. I'm gonna go shower and fix my face, and then hopefully bring you guys on with me while we do some writing adventures. Today is cleanup day, but I'm hoping to get some words done on my poor, sad, two neglected babies who are waiting to smooch, and they need me to do it. And it's time. It's time for some smooching. So yeah, buckle in, follow with me, guys. Fingers crossed, you're still here with me by the end of the week. All right, friends, I have just wrapped up doing work inside. Somehow, in all of the fact that I've talked about like a dozen times that it's Monday, I forgot that meant that I had a video that needed to go up tomorrow on Tuesday. So I didn't actually do any writing. I edited my video instead. 13 minutes on the dick soap, friends. You're welcome in advance. You'll see it tomorrow. Well, by the time this goes up, you will have already seen it. But yeah, so I went inside and I did that. And now I'm going to go home and rustle up some food. I still haven't eaten. I have not timed. I'm still taking an antibiotic from when I got over strep throat. And you have to eat it on an empty stomach. So it has to be like X number of hours after and X number of hours before you eat. And I've been really bad about timing that out lately. So I'm gonna go eat because I finally can. And I'm very, very hungry. But nothing at Starbucks really looked good that wasn't coffee based. And I've already had enough of that today. So I'm gonna head home and do that. And then maybe head upstairs and do some work in my, Louise Pentland calls it her soft office, my soft office. Or I may end up at the desk, but one way or the other, more work is to be done, and I will check in with you guys then. Wow, guys. So last night was a fail. I know that I said I would come back and talk to you guys in the evening, and then I totally just did not. I got really wrapped up in my audiobook, and then we had to do the school run, and I forgot I was doing dinner and blah, 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 bunch of XYZ things you guys don't really need to hear, but basically I ended up going to bed kind of early and just, yeah, didn't bring you guys with me, and I'm sorry. But update, I am about a third of the way through Danse Macabre by Stephen King, and I'm really enjoying it. It's a little interesting because the book now is so old that there are like several like rewritten prefaces and introductions and stuff. And so I think the newest one in the copy I listened to, he wrote an intro letter from like 2008. And then there was another intro letter from like the 90s. And then the book was originally written in like the late 80s, early 90s. Like, it's just like, there's like intros on intros. And so that part was kind of like a lot to get through because he's talking about the content that I actually haven't like listened to yet. In print, I would normally skip those, but I just didn't really feel like fucking with it in audio. So I didn't, but I really, really like it. It's more film based than I thought it would be. For some reason, I thought we would be talking more about like horror fiction and less like horror film, but it's really great because we're still talking about like the different like taxonomies and tropes of horror and all of those things. King breaks down into like terror, horror, and disgust in terms of like the three, and they're like hierarchical, right? So like the biggest thing that you can instill in a person is like terror. And then if you can't terrify them, you can like scare them. And if you can't scare them, you can disgust them. So yeah, it's just really, really interesting. There is a big part at the beginning when he's kind of talking about the history of horror where he talks about Dracula and Frankenstein and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde as kind of the three archetypal prototypes of like horror stories. So you have like the Thing story, which is Frankenstein. Then you obviously have like the Dracula tale or like the succubus, the feeding. And then you have the Apollonian and Dionysian conflict. So basically that Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde intellect versus physicality like split. And of course, each thing kind of gets teased out. This might be one that I actually have to listen to more than once. It's a lot denser than I thought it would be. I'm feeling the need to like go back and take notes, which is fine because I actually really like doing that with audio. It makes it more like a lecture. So yeah, so that's Danse Macabre, and I'm going to hopefully finish up most of that today. And then it's podcast day. So Kay and I are going to finally sit down and record another couple episodes of the podcast and have our little like podcast business meeting where we do podcast business things. So yeah, right now I'm going to go to the coffee shop and just grab some coffee and then come back home. So yeah, catch you guys on the flip side. guys, it is officially 3:10 in the afternoon and I'm getting ready to go make the school run. We finished recording our doubleheader podcast episode and finished up our little business meeting about 1-ish. And so since then, I've been listening to Danse Macabre. I hit the halfway point on that. So we're at the point where Stephen King is just basically going through the different manifestations of like horror movie as metaphor. So like horror movie as economic terror, horror movie as body terror, horror movie as XYZ, and we're about halfway through that. It's really good. Like I said, it's a lot more film heavy than I was originally anticipating, and my film knowledge just isn't quite at the same level as like my book knowledge when it comes to horror stuff. So I'm a little, not like scrambling, but just kind of, I feel like some of the points he's making are kind of maybe a little bit going over my head, but of course he's doing a really good job of contextualizing within the scenes what it is he's talking about. So it's not like I'm completely lost. I just feel like would probably have gotten something out of it if I were slightly more familiar with like specifically like B level and cult level horror movies. But yeah, and so I got to the halfway point on that, and then I just wanted to kind of mix it up a little bit. So I switched to the Lore podcast. This is another one that I'm super late to the party on, but Lore is basically, short. They're not, what are they? They're short episodes, and each one focuses on like a specific piece of lore or folktale or creature. Like I'm just starting back at the beginning. I've went back to the very beginning, and so far today he's done episodes on like H.H. Holmes and the murder house, but also on like the little people, like wee folk from Scandinavia and vampires and forests, like why the myths and legends that make us afraid of like the forest, and the forest is like this archetypal fear. Each one's a little different. It's really interesting. Like I said, I'm super late to the party. Aaron Mahnke's been doing this for a really long time. There are books that are out. He's got like a TV show on Amazon. Like I'm super late to the party on this one, but I'm really enjoying it. I'm just really like soaking up all this like autumnal fall horror creepy stuff and like really enjoying it this year. So yeah, I'm gonna go do the school run and get the Spawn and drop him off at my parents' house, then come back and keep working on the craft stuff that I'm working on, the gift stuff, and listening to Lore. So hopefully I will check in with you guys one more time before the day's over. All right, friends. Hello. Good morning. It is Wednesday. We pretty much just skipped all of Tuesday night, and this morning I'm hanging out with, this is Penny. Hi, puppy. Hi. She's tired. She's not in the mood. I invaded her space because I wanted to film with her because she's cute. But yeah, anyway, it's Wednesday morning. It's like 9:45. I got up. I got coffee. I've written my 1,000 words for the day, so I've technically hit my goal. Although I'm going to hopefully be able to do that again this afternoon in an afternoon block. But yeah, so yesterday, what was yesterday? Yesterday was nothing. After I talked to you guys and did the school run, I came home and I watched the 3rd season of American Horror Story and did laundry. That's it. It was great. I'm working my way through all the old American Horror Stories because the new one, I think it might be out today. Holy shit. I think it might be out today. If it's not out today, it's out in the next couple like weeks on Wednesday. So yeah, but I'm watching the next one. I guess this newest season of American Horror Story is Apocalypse. And it's the bridge season between the first story, Murder House, and the 3rd season, which is Coven. So if you're like unaware of American Horror Story, Ryan Murphy is like one of those like genius masterminds, but also could possibly just be insane kind of people. So he's telling each season as its own kind of individual horror story around a centralized theme. Like I said, this year's is Apocalypse, but also apparently they're all on the same timeline in the same universe. So he's telling somehow like one giant cohesive story, but like piecemeal. It's got a lot of really great people in it. All of my faves are going to be back. Evan Peters, Tessa Farmiga, Sarah Peterson, Sarah Paulson. Yeah. So anyway, I'm really looking forward to it. The first 3 seasons of that show were my favorite. My enjoyment per season went pretty significantly downhill after that. And I actually didn't even watch the last season, which I don't remember if it was Colt or Roanoke, which one of those two it was, but I haven't even watched it. If you have, let me know. I'm finally going to get to it this time. But yeah, so that's my Wednesday. Like I said, I'm going to go rustle up something that resembles some food, and then I'm going to get to work on some video captioning and some edits that I have to do for a client. So yeah, that is my day so far. Say hi, Penny. She says hi. All right, we'll see you guys later this afternoon. Hello, BookTube. Welcome to Friday. That's what day it is. I am just finishing up eating some breakfast. I just actually finished Wild Beauty by Anna Marie McLemore on my Kindle. That was the first book that I managed to check off for my Latinx book bingo. I don't remember which square it is that I put this down for. I think it was for a queer main character, but it might have also been for, oh, well, my light bulbs are flickering and I keep forgetting. I need to change that one. But it might have also been for like an SFF read, whichever one it was. It was both, and it was super rad. I really, really loved it. Anna Marie McLemore does magical realism stuff that I absolutely flipped over. This one was about the Nolmevides girls, who are 5 sisters. Every generation of Nolmevides girls has 5 girls. And they are worried that this, for various reasons that you learn early on in the beginning, they're worried that this might be the last generation of Nolmevides girls. And so it's just a story about that and the things that they're willing to sacrifice to keep that from happening, and love and growth and sexuality. And it's got some really, really beautiful like flower imagery. The magical realism is based on like flowers. The girls can grow flowers and they're all tethered to this land that the house lives on. It's very much so one of those books where the house and the land presents as a 5th character. I really enjoyed it. I'm really, really enjoying all my Latinx bingo reads so far. I've already restarted The Hummingbird's Daughter on audio by Luis Alberto Urrea. That was the one that I started after I finished Dance Macabre last night. I'm thinking I'll probably like alternate between a Latinx book and an RIP book, at least for the foreseeable future. So that was my choice last night. I really liked Dance Macabre, as is usually the case when I finish books like that. I ended up with a huge, big old TBR. So I'm gonna be looking forward to checking out those things. I'm thinking I might do like 30 horror movies in 30 days for Halloween, like stop right before actual Halloween, do the 1st through the 30th of October. There are quite a few horror movies that I love and have seen, but also quite a few that I've missed out on over the years just because of reasons. So stay tuned if that ends up becoming a project. I'm sure you guys will hear more about it in between now and then. But otherwise, it's Friday. Today is the day that the wee babe, that Will is going to go out of town with my parents to see my grandparents. So they're going to be gone for the whole weekend. They're leaving today, this afternoon, so I'll have tonight and then all day tomorrow and tomorrow night to do whatever I want with. And I don't know what the answer will be. Probably more reading, definitely more writing, probably some house cleaning up. My dog's like, come here, Penny. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come say goodbye to all the people. Come here. All right, friends. So until then, she's very confused. Until I see you guys next time, I think I'm just going to go ahead and end the vlog here. I've got to go get packed up and I have to get everything ready for him to go out of town. And then for you and I to stay here alone. It's just going to be you and me. Is that okay? All right, guys. I hope you guys all had a good week. Let me know down below what you're reading, what you're doing, what you've been up to. And I'll see you next time. Bye.